All right. Hello, everyone. Hello. Welcome to the Center of Love. Thank you for joining us this morning, either in person or via the comfort of your own home. My name is Oliver, or Ollie, and I will be your host today. A little last minute swapperoo in duties. So I'm going to be improvising a little bit, but I do have an invocation of sorts that I would like to start off with. And so if everybody's comfortable, everybody go ahead and close your eyes and take a nice, deep, grounding breath in. Oh, great teacher, we gather here in your name, and boy, do you have many, many names. God, Gaia, Spirit of Life, Brahman, Tao, and so many others. And yet behind all the names, we know that there is one source. And so I approach you and call you the great teacher, but please feel free to substitute that word in your mind with any name you wish. We gather here in your name, O great teacher, seeking your guidance, your wisdom, your love. We know that these gifts of yours are abundant, that we already are that which we seek. And so what we're really asking you today, great teacher, is to guide us to this truth, this experience of being whole, stable, spacious, and infinite. Help us work through our obstructions, see through our delusions, overcome our challenges, resolve, reconcile, and clarify for us. Reveal to us that which we need to see. Tell us that which we need to hear. Open our hearts and minds that we may be as we truly are. Amen. Awesome. So now that we have invoked the great teacher, I am ready to kick off the ceremonies. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So today we have a lovely talk by a lovely individual on the subject of freedom. And before we dive into that, I wanted to share a quote with you from the philosopher Epictetus. And I think this very much relates to our community. Epictetus said, "You are not an isolated entity, but a unique, irreplaceable part of the cosmos. Don't forget this. You are an essential piece of the puzzle of humanity. Each of us is a part of a vast, intricate, and perfectly ordered human community. But where do you fit into this web of humanity?" I'm happy to report that I have an answer to this question. I know where I fit in, right here with all of you amazing people, the center of love. That's what this community is all about. It's about putting the puzzle pieces together and becoming what we truly are meant to be. And so today, helping us with that is a person that I have gotten to know quite a bit in the last few months. Lesia Kohut, soul excavator, founding member of this community, former roommate of mine, along with her lovely partner, Glenn. And today, Lesia is going to talk to us about freedom. Freedom of mind, body, and spirit, inspired by the opening song, which we just played for you by Mavis Staples. Now, I think everybody here knows Lesia, but I do have a little bit of news that I would like to share before I welcome her to the pulpit. On November 8th, coming up very soon, Lesia's first book is going to be published worldwide. And the title of the book is Soul Excavation, an exploration and discovery of self through fear, failure, and quantum physics. Dang, I heard that if you understand quantum physics, you don't understand quantum physics. I'm pretty sure I heard that quote somewhere. But hopefully after your book, I will be able to speak more intelligently about quantum physics. Anyways, welcome. Thank you so much, Lesia.
All right. Ba-boom. Thank you, Ollie, very much for that fantastic introduction. And wow, just sitting here before when Glenn and Ollie and I were sitting and talking, Ollie is like a walking encyclopedia of like Greek scholars and thinkers and philosophers and just like dropping names like that. But it's amazing listening to him and Glenn talk. They've read so much. It's mind-boggling. Anyway, thank you. Welcome to everyone who's here online, everyone who's watching later, and to everyone who is here in person. It's so super awesome to be in your company again. So the opening song, Mavis Staples, it's actually not her song. That's her interpretation of the song, her and her friend Levon Helm, who was the drummer and one of the lead singers of the band. And that particular version of that tune, which is actually a civil rights tune that was written in 1963, I think, by Billy Taylor and Dick Dallas. It was a jazz and gospel tune, and you could hear a lot of the gospel in it just now, was a civil rights song. And it spoke to the longing for freedom and justice for all. Now, the reason that I love that particular version is it's a version that was actually recorded about 10 years ago, just before Levon Helm died. And Levon Helm and Mavis Staples were super amazing friends. And that is what comes through in this video for me, is just these two fast friends and their respective bands and all of these people in this barn that is just filled with joy and love, and them just singing their hearts out and being who they truly are at their core. There are tons of other versions, and I even thought about playing the Nina Simone version, which is a classic, but it's a lot heavier. And today I just wanted to open up with something super filled with joy. Super filled with joy and love, because that's why we come here. This is the center of love. We, each and every one of us, are the center of love. Now, I was going to speak to just that song, and I do have the lyrics here, and I do want to talk about them. But there were a couple of other things that came up for me in the last few days that also sort of sparked some ideas on what to talk about in terms of freedom. And so the first one was on Thursday, there was a graduation ceremony for the graduates of 2021 and 2022 from the Emerson Theological Institute. I'm one of them. And I was graduating. I mean, I already got it like a year and a half ago, but I was being celebrated for getting my bachelor's degree in advanced consciousness studies. And one of the speakers that spoke at the beginning before commencement was talking about how ministry is changing, how church is changing, and how the old ways of doing things aren't cutting it anymore. They're dwindling. The people aren't interested anymore of having someone sort of stand at the front talking to a captive, passive audience. That people want to participate. They want to engage. They want to engage in conversation and discussion and thinking and learning and being expanded, which is what we do here, right? Like we come together every other Sunday and connecting and talking with each other and sharing and supporting each other is a huge, huge part of what this community is all about. And so as I was hearing this, also being in my last year of ministerial studies right now, where my teacher and mentor, Dr. James Mellon, has once again thrown out the syllabus, and he's like, we're just doing things brand spanking new on the fly, and we're creating this class experience as we go, because ministry isn't just about standing behind a pulpit, you know, at the lectern, giving a message or homily for 20 minutes, and then that's it. It's about interacting. It's about growing and expanding together. It's about learning from each other. You know, even as someone standing here, you know, I'm not the one who has all the answers. If anything, I have learned in the last year and a half, especially, to keep living in the question. And when an answer comes up, every day, every moment, to just sort of revisit and re-question, you know, is this something that works for me? Is this something that I still truly believe? Is this me showing up as my most amazing, powerful, expressive, infinite self? So that was something that came up for me about the freedom to continually lean into the new, into the unknown, into questioning, has what, you know, I've been doing and thinking and believing up until now, is it continuing to work for me in this moment? Or is there some other way of doing things, some other way of looking at things? Is there something else I can think that can guide me to being a more powerful, expressive version of who and what I truly am. And then the third thing that happened was actually last night, just on the fly, I decided to watch the Netflix special Halftime, which is a story about how Jennifer Lopez was chosen to do the halftime show at the Super Bowl in 2020 and the year kind of leading up to it. Now, I like Jennifer Lopez. I don't own any of her music. I know a couple of her tunes. Used to watch her on, what was the show? American Idol, and with our daughter Milana, and she's, I mean, I also do remember her from decades ago being one of the Fly Girls on In Living Color, and she's been in a whole bunch of movies, and so it was really neat to watch this documentary about her, to learn so much about her and learn how incredibly driven she is and how focused she is and how determined she has been her entire life to be seen as more than just a dancer, as more than someone who is a dancer but not an actress, as someone who has worked so hard in her acting career to be seen as the actress that she truly is and feels herself to be, and not just the dancer or not just a singer, but that she can actually do and is doing it and being it all. And then when she got this Super Bowl gig, which I didn't realize was like one of the biggest, sort of honors and things that a musical artist can do, that for her, it was kind of like every single moment up until now had been leading her up to this one incredible pinnacle, ultimate culmination of everything, like this incredible event. And she felt that it was so important that she share a message, not that she just get up there and shake her booty, like she says in the film, but she get up there and she share a message. And the message ended up being very political, which even at the 11th hour, after all this planning and all this artistry and creativity and determination, the day before, the high up leaders at the NFL said, you can't do this. It's too political a statement. And she basically said, F you, I'm doing it anyway. And it was incredible. What an amazing spectacle and what an amazing message about standing in your truth, about showing up as who and what you truly are, of honoring your power, and of not apologizing to anyone for who and what you believe yourself to be, and not listening to other people's expectations and labels and roles of who you are to the point of feeling small and like you can't be or live the life that you want to live. So those are three things that came up for me in terms of freedom. And so what do the civil rights song, a commencement speech, and this Netflix special have in common? For me, it was freedom. Freedom on different levels, and not freedom. I mean, there are so many different ways. It's such a loaded, juicy word. But if you look at it sort of down to the bare bones, for me, there are parallels all across the board. And ultimately, it comes down to, what are you thinking? What are you believing? What are you anchoring yourself in? Is it in the truth of who and what you are? Or is it what other people say, what other people think of you, what other people expect of you? So I want to go over some of the lyrics in this song. It opens up with, I wish I knew how it would feel to be free. I wish I could break all the chains holding me. Now, even though this was written as a civil rights song, if you think of this in spiritual terms, the chains that are holding me, the only chains that are holding any of us are the chains that we bind ourselves with. Okay, they're based on how we use our mind, what we think, what we believe, whether we do it knowingly or whether we do it unknowingly. So if we want to break free, if we want to unshackle ourselves from those chains, we need to become aware of, a couple of weeks ago, what Glenn was talking about. What are we buying with our attention? Like the attention that we're paying, what are we buying with it? We need to focus. We need to become aware. What are the thoughts we're thinking? What are the beliefs that we're grounded in? And then as we do, we can unbind ourselves and break free. Now, there was something else that came up in an email that I got a couple of days ago, which I really liked. A few times I've said, and maybe some of you have heard me say, you can go through hell, just don't build a condo there. So I heard it another way and just thought, this is great because it's even more relatable. We've all been there, but we don't have to stay there. So whatever pain you're going through, whatever fears you might have, whatever frustrations, anxiety, guilt, stress, whether it's, something in your physical world, your emotional world, your mental world, relating to someone else, a job that you have that you don't really like, 20 pounds that you wish that you could lose, more money that you wish that you could have. What is it that you're doing and thinking, and how are you behaving? And is it keeping you stuck in more of what you've gotten and experienced up until now? Or are you freeing yourself from that, shifting your focus, paying attention that allows you to open up to what's possible versus what's probable? Now, the title of my talk today is Unshackle Your Mind and Come Alive. And so I want to read some more lyrics from the song. I wish I could share all of the love that's in my heart to move all of the bars that keeps holding us apart. And I wish you could know what it means to be me. Then you would see and agree every man should be free. Again, even though civil rights tune, here you can just see those words saying, if you only open up yourself to truly living and creating life from who you are, the infinite expansive universe, consciousness on demand, boundless, limitless creativity and imagination in and at play, anything that you think, in terms of the infinite, whatever it is that resonates for you, if you shift your focus to that, then you show up as your true self. You don't have to wish for it. You can actually do it by shifting your focus, by shifting your mind, by paying attention on who and what you truly are versus what's going on around you. I wish I could give all I'm longing to give. I wish I could live like I'm longing to live. And I wish I could do all the things that I can do, though I'm way overdue, I'd be starting anew. Any moment, we can literally change our minds. We can remind ourselves, reorganize our mind back to being in line with spirit, showing up with spirit, as spirit, who and what we are at our core. Any single moment, the choice is ours, and we're always choosing. Whether we know it or not, we are always choosing. So this takes me back to a couple of weeks ago when Amanda spoke, take full responsibility. It is so important for us to take full responsibility of our lives. No one can make us feel better. No one can give us the love that we love and deserve and are at our core. No one can take away our guilt, our anxiety, our pain, our fear. The only person who can do that is us. Right? We can support people around us, but ultimately, if we're looking for help from external sources, but not doing it from within, we're always going to feel that emptiness and that longing to be free. I wish I could be like a bird in the sky. How sweet it would be if I found out I could fly. I'd soar through the sun and look down at the sea. Then I'd sing because I know how it feels to be free. Don't think of, something has to happen in order for me to feel free. Someone has to do something in order for me to feel free. It's not a I'll be happy when scenario. It's a, do I want to be happy? Do I want to feel free? Do I want to live the life I want to live? Then I am choosing to do so. I am choosing to take the action steps. I'm choosing to think the thoughts. I'm choosing to believe the beliefs. I'm choosing to surround myself with people who love and support me and challenge me to grow, to expand, who don't help me to repeat the same stories of pain, anger, frustration again and again and again, but who help me to remind me that I am bigger and more powerful and creative and resilient than any of it. So ultimately, even though at the end, most of the time it's I wish, I wish, I wish, at the end of the song, she just says, I'm singing because I know what it feels like to be free. And in that video where Levon Helm and his band and Mavis Staples and her band, and by the way, like now, well, no, he's died since, that if they were in their 70s, she's 83 now, and she's still touring and making music. Powerhouse. She is living, her essence, her soul, like true freedom from within. So all of that to say that, you know, the video, the commencement speech about, you know, things that were before aren't necessarily working going forward. So we constantly need to reinvent, rethink, and question. And then J-Lo, just like seeing her determination of like, I will not back down. This is who and what I am, telling people until they listened, and always having that belief in herself, that drive, that fortitude, that tenacity, that resilience. That's freedom. Knowing who and what you are, how infinitely powerful, creative, and resilient you are, standing in that truth, creating life from that, that's freedom of mind, body, and soul. So one more musical quote, and it comes from a song that we're going to hear at the end. Some of you might recognize it if you hear the lyrics. When the world becomes a fantasy and you're more than you could ever be because you're dreaming with your eyes wide open. And we know we can't go back again to the world that we were living in because we're dreaming with our eyes wide open. So come alive.
Good one.
All right, so pay attention to the life you're creating for yourself. Remember to shift your focus and start telling new stories, act in new ways, let go of people, places, and things that are keeping you stuck in the pain and misery and confusion and anger and fear that you may have been feeling up until now. And surround yourself with people who lift you up, who love you, who challenge you to become the person that you truly are, to be the infinite creativity, resilience, and love that you truly are, to come alive. Unshackle your mind and come alive now. Thank you.
All right, my friends. Well, then let's move along then. So thank you, everybody, for sharing your insights, your comments. Thank you, Lesia, for the wonderful talk, thought-provoking, lots of stuff to think about and integrate into our lives. And thanks to everybody for being here online, in person. It's always a pleasure. I mean, every time someone walks in, we start applauding, like we're just all so happy to see each other, to be here together. And it's just a wonderful way to spend a Sunday with all of you. So thank you for being here. Some logistical things before we close. As always, energy is appreciated. Whether it's your ideas, whether it's your skills, anything that you would like to offer to this community, what I like to tell people is what is given is received. So what you give to this community, you will get back 1,000-fold. And so the donation box, yeah, there's a little slip in there for e-transfers if that's the way that you want to donate. Otherwise, there's a little basket there. And one other thing to kind of shamelessly plug myself a little bit. I'm going to be speaking at a church next Sunday on October 9th. And the topic of my talk, the title of it is Ask and Ye Shall Receive. So it's going to be all about the spiritual practice of asking. Going to tie it into Socrates, Jesus, and some other historical figures, as well as things that have happened in my life. And spoiler alert, I will be plugging the Center of Love with these fine people, with the Unitarians. So if you're interested in attending that, it's just online. It's not in person. I'm happy to send you a link. So just let me know. And then other than that, I just wanted to say we've got speakers and hosts lined up until the new year. So we're doing very well in terms of, again, engagement, participation. But if you're looking to get in there and you're starting to think, you know, maybe I've got to talk, you've got months now to prepare. So let me know. I'll put your name in one of the slots in the new year. And I think we've got Christina is going to be joining us in the new year as well to do a talk. So lots of interesting speakers, lots of diversity, as you said. And yeah, just keep the love flowing, my friends. That's the MO here.
Is everyone gathered and sharing, holding hands?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you can see us in one of the screens anyway.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I wanted to close our gathering today with sharing a quote. And this quote comes from Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning. He writes, "Everything can be taken from a man, but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way." So as you leave here today, and as you embark on a new week, I invite you all to choose your attitude. Choose one that will empower you to be the truest version of yourself. Thank you all for being here today and for sharing your light and your wisdom. Until next time, I bid you peace.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you, Lori.
Great.